always interested in people right from the beginning. My name is Christan Nicholson. I've been a portrait painter for more than 40 years. I had always been craftsy when I was a kid. I painted friends, like a lot of people do, and drew friends. And the first thing I ever did was of my grandmother. She lived with us, and so it was easy to get her to sit for a portrait. Did 2 years of a general BA at UMB in St. John. It was a very academic training the first couple of years when I was learning to draw and paint in a very traditional way, as you said, with the underpainting and sepia and that sort of thing. When I was at Mount Allison, I was pretty full of myself, and I was a rebellious student, like a lot of kids were. Even though I was not interested in, as I say, conceptual work, it doesn't mean that I wasn't still part of a rebellion. I didn't like people telling me what to do. I didn't like the professor standing me over my shoulders. I was still interested in drawing from life, and drawing in a realistic way, and painting in a realistic way. And because of my people skills that I really inherited from my father's side of the family, I talked to them a lot. I didn't realize I had that skill, which is sort of the ability to relax people. You find out a little bit about them before you go in to meet them, and if it's a businessman or a politician or university professors, President, I'm not interested in talking about the university, and I'm not interested in talking about your business. I thank my lucky stars on a regular basis that I have that aspect of his personality, that, you know, the gift of the gab or whatever. I do the drawing first directly on the canvas, and then I do an underpainting, which is a black and white version, and that's left over from my academic training, and I wouldn't have it any other way. If there's an underpainting and you work it up in layers, as I do, of a variety of different colors and that sort of thing, until you add on a layer of stronger brush strokes, what happens is somewhere along the line you stop, it still looks like a finished painting, but you get to see how it evolved to that stage. I work from photographs. Years ago, when I was living in Halifax, I used to work from life, and then people stopped showing up. So I had to learn to finish on my own, or else work from photographs. Finally, after university, I was able to read books that I wanted to, so I started off reading the classics, and then one day at the library I discovered the books with the little Canadian flag on the back, and I started reading people like Margaret Atwood and Robertson Davies and Ernest Buckler and Gabrielle Roth and a whole bunch of different Canadian writers, and it struck me for the first time in my life that they were writing about us. I still use the basic colors that I've been using for years. There's about 8 of them, and occasionally I get a new color, like last year one of the student boarders that I have bought me this particular green, and I used it in a painting. You just use your imagination and see colors that aren't there, and eventually you find colors that work together. So in my own case, for example, it took a number of years, but I used greens and purples and very dark reds in my shadow areas.
Do you create your art for yourself?
In my own case, I've created it mostly for myself. Obviously, if people commission me to do something, it's for them, and it's to be put on display.